Howdy, I'm Philmo, and I'm at the Blue Lotus Studios with Paul, and he's a fourth, and I'm a fourth. But we're not going to tell you where it all came from because we're here nonetheless. So, Philip Stephen John Montgomery is how I began. And in the meantime, I'm just Philmo. So basically, I'm from downriver Detroit, which is a lot of cats came from that area at the time, growing up in the 60s. We had all the influence of music, but I grew up with like the MC5 people next door, basically the next city, Lincoln Park. I'm from Melvindale, and a lot of the big time artists came out of that proximity. I've been a part of that for maybe till I was 18, till I went to the military. But after the military is when the whole thing started. And that's how I began my professional career as being a musician. Being a guitar player is one thing, but being a songwriter is another. And back in those days, you had to play everybody else's music, regardless of how cool you were. But you got to learn the ropes, and you got to be consistent, and you got to be persistent. In my way, I was working construction, so that kind of got in my way until I was determined to be somebody else. So I was discovered in a bar. I would say not just a normal bar, but this would be a theater bar, very elaborate, called the Caboose, and that was in Winter Park, Florida. And I was basically introduced to the Jesus Christ Superstar touring company, and I was blown away. But somehow I got in that group. And it was a touring band called Gold Dust. And the cat who was in charge of the Gold Dust band was Arthur Red Dog Titus. So he gave me my first break. And I got to be Jesus in an incredible performance show band. Blew me away. And I got to learn a lot just from that experience. So how did I get to St. Louis? Well, it was a strange happening. One day I was in Florida on the beach, and the next day I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, with a band called Punch. Punch was one of those kick-ass bands that St. Louis wasn't really ready for, and it was a fun thing. But we were a little intense for 1975. But one day we were playing Rusty Springs, and David Surkamp from Pavlov's Dog happened to be in the audience. And he saw our drummer, Kirk Sarkeesian, at the time, and basically he stole Kirk, which is okay, I guess. Hey, we had a long time being Punch, but he became the drummer of Pavlov's Dog after Mike Safran left. And basically, it was sometime after that I was called by Kirk to come and join the band, but I had to audition first, so it was cool. I came to St. Louis because I was in Detroit after that band Punch broke up, and I went back to Detroit for a little while, and then Kirk calls me and says, "Let's get you out here, and maybe you can be in this cool band." I said, "Well, I can do that." So I rehearsed the whole album, first album, and came to audition in St. Louis with Scorfina, Stephen, the whole band, basically, and without David. David was decided he was wanting to go to Seattle, Washington. So I came in and I did the band thing with Pavlov's Dog. So that's how it began. It changed throughout the moments of the beginning, because it went from one end to the next end. We became a completely different band with my involvement, which ended up being basically a rock and roll band. And even though it was fun doing the other show, this new show was even more fun. So, but my hair kept growing and my beard kept growing, and one day I decided to cut it all off. Sometime in the 80s, early 80s, I was playing with a guy named Jimmy Miller, incredible drummer. And Gus Thornton, one of the best bass players in the world. And he'd come over to the house and they'd do some sessions with me in my little basement studio. And one day Gus says, maybe you should come out and play with us on a Sunday night. I said, well, that sounds like fun. What do you want me to play? He says, play the blues, my brother. Play the blues. So for a little while, it was a Johnny Johnson's band. And it was an incredible experience. Again, here I go with the experiences. And Jim Miller and I were basically the only white guys in the band. And it was more fun than I could ever imagine. And Johnny liked the way I played. The style, my style, was not like a normal white guy style, but it was okay. So I wasn't aware that it was different. I just assumed that it was blues guitar. But he liked it. Gus liked it. The band liked it for the while I was in it. And one day, it was a Sunday, and Johnny says, I don't like that name you got. I said, what are you talking about? He says, well, from now on, your name's going to be Philmo. And that's how it was. I named an incredible name from Johnny Johnson, Philmo. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. And here I am again, Philmo. I was born singing, my mother said. Of course, not with vocal words, but just articulations of sound. I have a twin sister, and she was crying. I was singing. Don't understand that. I just was too young to know, obviously. So I basically knew that I could sing way back then. So music was part of my life. My dad was a singer, more or less an opera singer. And I guess I inherited his pipes. I think it's cool. Long ago, I would just sing with the birds. I would whistle. I'd walk up and down the tracks of the railroad, and I'd sing melodies, harmonies, whatever came to my mind. So improvisation, which I never understood until I started actually playing guitar. And that was when I was 10 years old, 11 years old. And I basically started writing songs right from the beginning. On an old cheap acoustic Silvertone that my old man bought for me. He says, Philip, if you learn how to play this one next Christmas, I'm going to buy you a real good one. So that blew me away because I know what it's going to be a real good one was. It was going to be something special. So 2 weeks later, I was playing on a Sunday after the Ed Sullivan Show. I was playing for my dad my first audition. And that was the theme to Bonanza. Dum dum da da dum 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 da dum. He blew him away, you know what I mean. My mom was laughing, and I'll never forget the moment. So I said to Pop, I said, hey, Pop, remember what you told me? If I learn how to play this one, you're going to buy me a real good one. So next Christmas, he had to fall into that and buy me a real nice one. So it was a Gibson SG Junior or Les Paul Junior, 1961. So that was my first cool guitar. And I had a Silvertone amp, and ever since then, I've been boogie-woogieing. And I wasn't slowing down, and I wasn't going to turn it down. So here I am in Paul's studio at the Blue Lotus. And today we just accomplished an incredible song. Another one. The last one was the Old Romeo song, and I hope you all heard it. And this one's going to be even more intense. I think. And it's called Forever. So stay tuned, because it's coming right at you soon. Coming at you soon. Coming right to you. It's going to be really good. Turn it up. That's all I can tell you. Turn it up. So a lot of people ask me, what makes a great band or a good band? And sometimes just any band. So in my words and experience, the best way to describe that is teamwork. You got to be a team. And there's no I in team. There's no ego in team. You all be what you are, and you make it one. And some of the bands I've been in pretty much may have been on the opposite end of that. And kind of frustrating when someone's trying to be more than the other person, and so on and so forth. And I don't care if you're writing songs or being the songwriter. It doesn't matter. Or if someone else is writing a song in the band. The best thing about it is, you all come together and do what you do. You gotta be one. And the minute you start putting yourself in front of everybody else, it ain't gonna happen. So that's what I'd call a bad band. A good band is when the egos go away, and then the songs flow, the music flows, and the happiness flows. And then angels come out of nowhere and just look at you from above and go, that's what I'll call a groove. So grooving is what it's at. If you don't groove, you better move. Life. Life is a very interesting thing because we all have it. We all have a life. But as a person, how do you treat life? Well, you treat life the way you want to be treated. So life is like when you meet somebody and you want to be treated like good thing. So you look at the butterfly, you look at a bird, you look at anything that's alive, and you go, I wonder how they do that. But to me, the best part of being alive is showing someone else how good it is to be alive. So you respect them, you care about them, and you make them feel good, no matter when, why, or where. Except if you're driving and somebody gives you the finger, then, all bets off, dude. Not really. You got to treat everybody just right. So the best thing about being alive is to be happy, treat other people like you want to be treated, and please open the door for somebody older than you and say thank you, no thank you. And when you're in a restaurant, tip. You got to tip. Make them feel good. Yeah. And then when you leave, whether you like the food or not, make sure they feel good. And my life is very special. I'm blessed. And to know it is one thing, but to appreciate it is another, and to give back to the angels that inspire you is probably the best thing you can do. So when you wake up in the morning, I want you to go out and whistle. Just whistle with the birds. Hum with the birds. And drink your coffee, no matter what time it is. But, if you get up early, you're going to listen to the birds. They'll be out there. I listen to the birds, and they tell me exactly what to do.